Okay, picture this. It's Monday morning. You're a few weeks into your new manager job, and your screen is just a nightmare. Slack is glowing with notifications, your inbox is overflowing, and you feel completely and utterly stuck. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you're in the right place. We're about to explore a totally new way to think about management, one that's built for the world we actually live in.
This quote right here, it just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? For years, you got that little rush from solving a problem, from being the one with the answer. You were the hero. But now your team is waiting on you for things you used to do without even thinking, and you've become the very thing you hate, a bottleneck. The skills that got you here, they're now the ones holding you and your team back.
So what is this feeling? This weird, uncomfortable pull between who you were and who you're supposed to be now? Well, there's a name for it, and just naming it helps us figure out what's really going on. It's called the manager's sickness.
And that's why this idea of management morning sickness is so brilliant. It tells you you're not crazy for feeling kind of queasy and disoriented. You feel sick because one identity, the star employee, is fading away, and a new one, the leader, is just starting to form. That discomfort, it's not a bad sign. It's a growing pain.
At the heart of this sickness is something called the Specialist Reflex. You know what I'm talking about, that irresistible urge to just jump in and say, "Here, let me do it." But see, every time you give in to that reflex, you're robbing your team of a chance to learn. The goal is to become a multiplier. You have to stop doing the work and start building the systems that let everyone else do it, maybe even better than you could.
So if the sickness is that specialist reflex, then the cure has to be a total mental rewiring. It's what the source material calls the orchestrator mindset. And this isn't just about learning a new trick, it's about becoming a different kind of professional entirely.
Think about that for a second. It's such a powerful image. Your job isn't to be the first chair violin anymore. Your job is to stand at the front and conduct the whole symphony. You're the one who takes all the individual sounds and turns them from chaos into beautiful music, all without making a single sound yourself.
So what does this look like in practice? Well, the old you would say, "Just send me the draft, I'll fix it." The new you, the orchestrator, asks, "How can we create a process, maybe a checklist or an AI prompt that helps us catch these kinds of errors before this draft ever gets to me?" See the difference? One creates a bottleneck, the other creates a scalable team.
And let's be real, in today's world, your team is more than just people. It's a hybrid of what's called carbon and silicon. You lead the carbon, the humans, with all the things that make us human: empathy, trust, and creating a safe space to fail. And you deploy the silicon, the AI, to take on all that repetitive, soul-crushing work, freeing up your people to do what they do best.
All right, leading people is one thing, but how in the world do you lead the silicon part of your team? Let's get really practical here with our first tool, which is a framework for bringing AI onto your team in a smart, strategic way.
And this is the core idea, the Digital Direct Report, or DDR for short. Now here's the crucial shift in thinking. If you treat AI like Google, you'll get answers. But if you treat it like a new hire, like a teammate, that's when you start getting real results. It's a total game changer.
I mean, you'd never hire a person without a clear job description, right? So don't do it with your AI. First, you give it a very specific objective. What is the one single thing it's responsible for? Then, you define its competency stack. What tools, what data does it have permission to use? And finally, you give it a seniority level. How much can it do on its own before a human has to step in and review?
To manage this, we can use what's called the AGG protocol. A is for authority, what can it do, and just as important, what can it not do? A classic example is it can draft emails, but it can never hit send. T is for threshold, when does it need to raise its hand and ask a human for help, like if a customer asks for a refund over $200. And G is for goal, what does success look like and what persona should it adopt? These are the guardrails that turn a cool tool into a trusted teammate.
Okay, so you've started building out your digital team, but to actually orchestrate all of this, you need the one resource that's always in short supply: time. And that means we have to eliminate the biggest time thief of them all, pointless meetings, which brings us to tool number 2, becoming a meeting killer.
What you're looking at here is the meeting killer decision tree. Think of this as your new best friend, your shield against a bloated calendar. Every single meeting request that comes your way has to start at the top of this tree, and the very first question it asks is the most important one. And here it is, the first filter. Is this meeting for an update or for a decision? Look, if someone just wants to broadcast information, that is not a meeting. That's an email, a Slack message, or a shared document.
Meetings are incredibly expensive. They cost your team's focus. So we have to reserve them for the one thing they're good for, making a decision together.
Now, if a meeting request actually passes that first test and a decision really does need to be made, it still has to follow the 15-3-1 rule. The first number is 15. Your default meeting time is now 15 minutes. That's it. This forces everyone to show up prepared and get right to the point. No more rambling. The second number is 3. You can have a maximum of 3 essential people in that meeting. Anyone else? They're optional, and they can get the recording later. This gets rid of that meeting FOMO and makes it crystal clear who is actually responsible for making the call.
And the final number is 1. There must be one, and only one, clear agenda, and it has to be sent out 24 hours in advance. If there's no agenda, the meeting is automatically canceled. No exceptions. This little rule is huge because it puts the responsibility of preparation on the organizer, exactly where it should be.
So we've got these incredible tools for managing our digital team and for protecting our time. But let's zoom out. How does this all come together into a new philosophy, a new operating system for leading in the future?
It comes down to this, the 3P pivot. This should be the filter for every decision you make. First, you prioritize process over production. Stop being the hero who cranks out the work and start being the architect who designs the machine. Second, you prioritize people over projects. Your team is your ultimate product. If you grow them, the projects will take care of themselves. And finally, you prioritize your presence over your own performance. Your job isn't to be the best player anymore. It's to be the calm, steady center for your team.
Which brings us right back to where we started. By killing that specialist reflex, by onboarding your digital teammates, and by taking back your calendar, you finally stop the noise. The stage is quiet. The instruments are tuned. The only question left is, are you ready to pick up the baton and lead the symphony?